Hi, this is Lucia with The Art of Love. Today I want to talk about the number one fear that people have when someone has broken up with them or when someone is doing no contact. And that is they're afraid that their ex is going to move on. I know that with my coaching clients, everyone asks this question. Well, what if he moves on? I need to contact him. I need to get in touch with her because otherwise they're going to move on. But here's the thing. You can't control that directly. If they move on or not, it's their choice. And, what are you going to do? Stalk them and follow them around, and every time they try to go on a date, insert yourself? I mean, there's really no direct way of stopping them from moving on. This is why you have to be clever, and this is why no contact is so effective. Because when someone breaks up with you, unless they were already interested in someone else and now they're going to start seeing them, or they were, heaven forbid, already dating someone else, then there's going to be what's called a lag period between when they break up with you and when they move on to someone else. If they move on to someone else right away, then they were already either interested or already seeing them, or it's a rebound. But if they don't do that, there's this lag period where they're not with you and they're not with anyone else. And that's your best chance for getting them back. And that's why that is the best time to do no contact, because they need to miss you. They need to think about you. They need to remember the good parts of the relationship. Because if your presence wasn't enough to want to make them continue to see you, then what makes you think that after they've broken up with you, showing up in their life again and being present in their life again as much as possible is going to make them want to get back with you? It's not going to happen. So reaching out thinking that you're going to keep them from moving on is unrealistic. That's not how it works. And so you must do no contact sooner rather than later, as soon as someone breaks up with you, so that when your ex is in that lag period, they're going to think of the good memories if you leave them alone. Because otherwise, if you contact them, it could go either way. Hearing your voice might make them think of the good memories, or it might make them think of the bad memories. But when you just leave them alone, luckily the mind just has this way of filtering out the negative after a period of time and just focusing on the positive. I guess it's kind of like, they say, like childbirth, where you forget how painful it was and you're happy to have a child and all the benefits that go with it. And so you have to let them arrive at that conclusion by themselves, that they miss you. And they can't miss you if you're constantly contacting them. And even if you are in contact, I know you're not going to be able to be calm and cool, even if you think you are, because you're going to be worried about the moving on. So your behavior and also the things you say and your attitude and your body language, if you see them, it's going to show that you're insecure. And that's the last thing you want to do. That's why you have to stay away. That way they don't know if you're insecure or not. They don't know if you've moved on or not. They don't know anything. And so you let their imagination go to work. And just as you think that they're going to move on quickly to someone else, they may be wondering the same thing. They may be wondering why you haven't called them when at first you were begging and pleading. So now you're able to turn things around because they thought for sure that you weren't going to go away easily, but now you have. And they're wondering, well, maybe you have someone else. Or maybe you already had someone else you were interested in, and that's why it's so easy for you not to contact them. See, you want to turn things around, and the best way to do that is to leave them alone. So hopefully I've convinced you that even if your greatest fear is that your ex is going to move on, you absolutely have to leave them alone and let the chips fall where they may. You don't have direct control over that. The best control you have is indirectly, and that is by doing no contact. So if you would like my help personally, please contact me about private coaching via my website, theartoflove.net. If you're listening to this on iTunes, I would really appreciate if you would rate and review the podcast. If you're listening on YouTube, thank you for subscribing. And finally, remember that love inspires, empowers, uplifts, and enlightens.